Chapter 13, The Emersons. The Emersons have a funny house. On the outside it looks like a farmhouse and a big old barn. Only there isn't any cropland, just a yard with a palm tree. On the inside it's filled with carpet pieces from Harrison's Aunt Sue's carpet store. There isn't much in the way of furniture, though, unless you count the beanbag chairs. They are everywhere. At the Emersons, they either don't have something or they have it in quantity. Like there's never any scissors, but Harrison and I counted 11 vegetable peelers one day. Still, I like the Emerson house. For one thing, it's one of the only places in Sarah's Road that is far enough from Sarah's Road so you don't hear the road noises. But the best thing is Mr. Emerson doesn't mind if you make a mess. In fact, he acts like you couldn't possibly be having fun unless you have a chicken living in your kitchen and 3 or 4 projects going on in the living room. Whenever I start cleaning up, Mr. Emerson says, "Leave it, Aunt. You and Harrison might want to get back to that tomorrow." At my house, the only place you're allowed to make a mess is the backyard. And even then, my mom will kill you if you don't clean up the second you're done. Harrison's house is a much better place to do projects, which is clearly what Harrison has in mind today. "Okay, here's what we need to do," Harrison says when we are sitting cross-legged on the brown corduroy bedspread. "We've got to write her a note saying we're sorry." "I'm not sorry, though." "Yes, you are." He gets Pistachio, who has made a spot for himself between us. "I am?" He nods so hard I can hear his hair move. I sigh. He's right. I am sorry. I didn't want to mess up Zoo Teens, that's for sure. It was so much fun taking care of the animals with just Carol. But now everything is all screwed up. There seems no point in trying so hard about this. She's never going to let me come back to the zoo, Harrison. Yes, she is. All you have to do is promise never to bring Tashi again. You can leave him over here if you're worried about his pills. My dad will give them to him. He touches Tashi lightly, the way you touch the frosting on a cake when you don't want to leave a mark. Pistachio licks Harrison's bitten-up fingernails. "You need to eat corn, Aunt." "What?" "You know, you say you were wrong and you made a mistake." "Oh, crow. Eat crow, not corn." Harrison crinkles up his nose. "Whatever." He scratches at his chest. "We'll make a cart, a very big cart, and we need food." "Food?" He nods. "If you want to change somebody's mind, you gotta bake them stuff. Pie, I think. And I'm going to draw the cart. It's going to be this big." He puts his arms as wide as they will go. "You're going to write the inside. This will take care of everything." I smile at this. Harrison thinks he can fix anything. He thinks he's Superman behind all that hair. "What am I going to write?" I ask as I scratch Pistachio under his chin. He lifts his head so I can do a better job and rests his little jaw on my hand. "My dad will help us with the pie," Harrison says, which doesn't answer my question. He hands me a paper and one of his pencils. "Now get busy." He shakes his finger at me. Harrison is never like this at school. I take the pencil and look at it. It's all nicked up with teeth marks, but the end is sharpened to a fine point, just the way Harrison likes it. Harrison has a big stack of poster board. He runs his fingers over each piece, looking for bumps, creases, and wrinkles. Harrison is very particular about paper. When he settles on the piece he wants, he cuts the board in half with a razor blade and a ruler. "It has to be real skinny," he explained to me, "because I'm going to do a giraffe." What if I just write "I'm really sorry" tall to fill up the inside? Harrison's eyebrows slide up his brow. "I'm sorry is not enough," he says. I sigh and begin writing while Harrison blocks in his giraffe. I love to watch him do this. He starts out by drawing a bunch of circles and squares that don't look like a giraffe at all, but when he puts them all together, they look exactly like a giraffe. It's magic the way Harrison draws. I settle down and try to write something that Harrison will think is okay. I do the best I can. "Okay, I'm done." "Good," he says. "I need your help." Harrison doesn't let me help with his drawings very often, And when he does, I get the easy parts, like filling in bricks or blades of grass or sky. Even so, I can't do as well as he does, but I love when he asks me to help. He doesn't care if I do it perfect either. He says drawings don't look right if they're too perfect. Now we are both lying on our bellies drawing. Pistachio is curled up against my foot. Harrison is working on a leg and I'm doing clouds. I try to make them all light and swirly the way Harrison showed me, but mine don't swirl right. They look heavy enough to fall out of the sky and knock the giraffe out cold. After we've been working for a while, Mr. Emerson knocks on the door frame. It's open, but he still knocks. Something about this reminds me of how much I like the Emersons, and then I get a little panicky inside. I shouldn't get attached, and I know it. If you get attached, then it hurts too much when you have to move away. Come in, Harrison says. I'm taking banana nut bread out of the oven in 10 minutes. You want to take a break and get a piece while it's hot? My mouth waters. I'm about to say yes when Harrison says, Not now, we're busy. I rap Harrison with my pencil. He ignores me. You guys sure have been quiet up here. What are you working on? We're making a giraffe card, and could you help with a pie? Harrison squints through his curly hair. His father just finished baking banana nut bread. He's not going to want to bake a pie. Maybe we could just bring her some banana bread, I suggest. Oh, no, Harrison says. He pushes his hair out of his face. It's got to be pie. When you make a mistake, you have to give pie. Pie? Mr. Emerson asks. He straightens up. His eyes get bright. He looks the way my father does when he runs his hand over his golf clubs. This surprises me. Then I remember Mr. Emerson loves to cook. A mistake pie, Harrison says. Oh, I know. Mr. Emerson sits down on the brown beanbag chair in Harrison's room. Humble pie. Yeah, Harrison smiles. That's the one. What flavor is that? Well, gee, guys, Mr. Emerson strokes his upper lip. I don't know if there is a flavor for humble pie. What are we sorry for? Maybe we should start with that. Will you read what you wrote? Harrison asks me. I shake my head no. I pretend to be shy, but this isn't it. I hate when Mr. Emerson finds out I messed up on something. I just hate it. Harrison's tongue pokes at his cheek. He scratches his head. We've got to get an adult opinion. We've got to, Aunt. My dad will tell us if it's okay. I sigh loud and long and roll my eyes. Pistachio groans and walks stiff-legged over to Mr. Emerson, wagging his short tail. I read. I am very sorry. I won't ever bring Pistachio to the zoo again. I didn't want him to get hurt. I only brought him because I was looking after him, but I guess this backfired. I know you want me to be honest, and I will try. Just like George Washington. Except I don't know if he was honest or not. You know, that story about how he chopped down the cherry tree and then someone asked him and he said he couldn't lie that yes, he did chop down the tree. I heard that is a big fat lie. I heard somebody made that all up. I think they're right, too, because why would George Washington chop down a cherry tree? Even back then, there must have been way more fun things to do. And that is the end of chapter 13. We are ready for chapter 14.